Tonight. Student loan debt in this country has just topped $1 trillion, and half of that amount is going unpaid, according to a new study by the federal government. This comes at a time when thousands of students here in the capital region are just starting to move back into their dorms and begin another year of classes. And Jennifer Lewke joins us live now in our Albany newsroom to talk more about this. And Jen, we know that the president's going to be here in upstate New York tomorrow talking about this very subject. Have you got any insight on what he might say? I mean, this really does appear to be this giant bubble on the verge of bursting.
Yeah, Liz, well, without revealing any specific details of the plan that he's expected to announce in Buffalo and Syracuse tomorrow, the president said in an email to his supporters today that it's time to reshape the way Americans pay for higher education. Right now, the average college student graduates with more than $26,000 of debt, and clearly many of them can't afford to pay any of it back.
Hey, alumni quad, we have roulette checking in!
As students start unpacking for a new semester, many of them seem more aware of what a huge financial commitment they're making. But they still feel obligated to make it.
Costs are astronomical, but it's like you're caught in a rock and a hard place. If you don't get the education, then there's no way you can move up.
And every year it keeps going up. Last year they actually boosted it up like another $500 in the middle of the year.
Student loan debt is the fastest growing debt in the country.
You can't afford college without a loan.
But nearly 7 million Americans have fallen behind on repaying those loans.
Almost everyone that I know is in some sort of student loan debt. And even with working, it's really hard.
Do you worry about how long you'll be paying it back for?
Yeah.
How long do you think?
Longer than my parents.
I know it's at least 30 years, maybe more.
There are federal programs like income-based repayment plans that are meant to help those who are struggling to keep up. But many of the students we spoke with say it's more about education on the front end.
It's actually one of those things where like the last couple months of high school, I kind of like rushed to get everything in.
Starting out as a college freshman and being bombarded not only with school information, but trying to figure out how you're going to pay for it all and not understanding the terminology and not even knowing how things work and not even knowing about the different loans out there. I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in.
And Bernice is right, really. Going to college for most high schoolers is kind of a given, but making sure that they realize just how much it's going to cost them needs to be a top priority. And Liz, that really falls on high schools and college admission and financial aid offices to make sure they're providing students with that information ahead of time so they don't get smacked with it at the end.
Because I'm assuming, and I'm really blessed to say that I never really had any student loans when I got out of school, but it was a different time, obviously. But there's really nothing that kids can do to get out of these. They pretty much follow them wherever they go until they pay them off, correct?
Yeah, that's right, Liz. Federally backed loans are with you for life. You cannot discharge them in bankruptcy. The feds can and do garnish wages, seize tax returns, whatever it takes. So if you're falling behind, it's best to contact your lender and let them know. They'd much rather put you on some sort of a payment plan versus have to try and track you down and force you to pay.
All right. Thank you very much, Jen Lewke. Well, the Columbia Green Humane Society